Yeah, so when I was thinking about it, I was thinking about what's the best foundation or the first thing to talk about, and it's really just my goal. So I feel like my goal is not my dream. It's really bringing dreams together to actually bring it to fruition. So I like the way that Einstein said it. He said, "Our imagination is the window to the future attractions."
Wow, that's kind of profound.
So for me, I believe that the most powerful tool that we've ever been given is our imagination, and I believe that we have a need to see that come to fruition. And the more that we see our imagination come to fruition, the bigger we're willing to dream. But one of the major problems that I've seen in the world is I've constantly seen people that want to dream, but they don't see it come to fruition. So they minimize their dream to fit their reality. And it's like depressing.
Yeah.
And I see us aspire to, like, we're distracted by money or somebody else's plan or somebody, how other people look at us, and we're not really focused on what we don't even ask ourselves what we really want. We just ask ourselves, what do other people want me to want?
Right. Right.
What do other people praise me for? So I just don't want to fall into the trap.
Right.
And I really want to just say, hey, this is what I want because this is the best life I can see so far. Now let's lock arms, and on the journey, you're going to think of some stuff too. We have different perspectives. Let's just go do it together.
Right. Right.
And it's just about, like, because I dreamed of having a Rolls Royce, I just might as well have one. People say, why you do that? That don't make no sense. Man made it. Like, actually, another man said something very profound to me. He said, I don't get how people can complain about not having money when man created money. How can I not have something that I created?
Right. Right. We're supposed to have that. Everybody should have it. Yeah.
But we let it, like, venture us off, and we focus so much on the resource that we're not actually focused on the dream. So then I start noticing, okay, a wise saying was always, the love of money is the root of all evil. Right. So then I said in my mind, if I make money my slave, I'll
awesome.
never love it.
That's awesome. Yeah.
But I thought about it a little bit deeper. When we have the intent of only money, there's no dream behind it. So there is no finished product. It's just thin air. And we're doing anything to obtain the resource. And we're not doing anything to obtain the dream. We don't even have a dream. If your dream is money, you will literally destroy everything in pursuit of it. But if your dream is an actual vision, and the way that you want to see the world, money is a resource that you're going to use to get it.
That's it. Yeah.
Because it's funny, the brokest people in the world be like, I ain't got no money. Yes, you do. You actually got more money than most. Entrepreneurs work for free first. Real entrepreneurs have to work for free before they ever see a paycheck.
Yes, we
and
do.
Harder than the average person. And the average person go work for somebody else, and they getting a consistent paycheck and have no clue what to do with that little money. And then we start hoeing. I got tired of being a hoe. You probably met my pimp. His name Bill.
Uh-oh. Oh, my goodness.
but I started racking up bills, and next thing you know, every month Bill was ready to smack me silly. But I'm the one who enslaved myself, and then I claim that I hate my job, but I'm the one who signed up for it.
Right. You went up in there. You applied. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah.
I got what I asked for. I even sat there and prayed. God, give me the. So,
Oh man.
I think whatever we put our attention to is what we can really get. And I think we start putting our attention on the way that we want to see the world instead of the way the world is.
Yeah.
We can actually start producing that. Because we get what we believe. We don't get what we want.
Right.
So if I constantly only see the disaster in life,
Right.
I always believe the disaster because it's like, oh no, this is what always happens.
Right. That's what I'm seeing. Yeah.
And it's what always happens in your reality.
So can I ask you a question?
Yeah, anything.
All right. So let's say you take a person, like you're saying, somebody who really don't dream outside of the stuff that's given to them, their surroundings. What type of advice could you give them to try to maybe help them open their mind up and kind of start to look within themselves to see what it is that they actually want?
Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, I'm just asking because you make some great points and just pointing out how things are related to people and how we dream and things like that. I mean, if you were to think of something you could maybe give them to help them maybe open up their minds?
Yeah. What I would say is pay attention to self-talk. How we talk to ourselves. A lot of times when we're thinking of things, we focus on possibility, right? But a lot of times, many people, we start to focus on the possibility of what could go wrong and not what can go right.
Thinking about those negatives.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wherever I revert to, like I like what Zig Ziglar said. He said, if you say you can, you're right. If you say you can't, you're right. Understand that everything starts with belief.
Yeah.
And many times we have been programmed to believe less than, believe the worst.
Right.
Not that we want the worst, it's just we constantly see the worst because that's what grabs our attention. We have a natural inclination to be able to say, oh, dang, something went wrong.
Right.
And I was hoping that wouldn't happen. Man, just what I was hoping wouldn't happen. And now we've proven to ourselves what we don't want.
Yeah.
And nothing goes the way that you imagine it up front. But when we see the possibility of what can be, we start to smile and say, oh, almost got it that time.
Yeah.
Almost got it that time. Oh, if we just change this and tweak this. Now we start thinking about, we open up our mind and we start saying, how can we attain that?
Yeah.
Instead of, dang, it went wrong again.
Right.
Failure is the process to success. And success is only built on what you imagine.
Yeah.
After God created something, he said, it's good. Why? Because it matched his imagination. It's just that simple. So even when I'm doing something, I'm rearranging a room, I imagine what I want the room to look like before I put the stuff in it.
Right.
And I go to one corner of the room and I'll be like, okay, ooh, got the projector up there. Okay, cool. Pull it down. That's perfect. Right there. It's good.
Yeah.
It matched my imagination.
Right. I like that.
Then he said, okay, I'm gonna put the chairs over here. But no, I want people to see it from both angles. Like, so then you're like, okay, and you envision first, and you create.
Yeah.
Something as simple as cleaning up. We do it all the time. But sometimes when we feel defeated, even something as simple as doing the dishes, we're like, man, I just don't feel like doing it. This house always jacked up.
Right.
And when I look at it as it's always jacked up, I keep it jacked up.
Power of the mind. Yeah.
You are powerful regardless. What you think changes the universe regardless.
Yeah.
So I want people that are willing to think of what they want and actually believe it. And I just take the lead by believing it. Like most people, they like, oh, that's too good to be true. I'm like, that's God. That's how it worked. Because like I even look at how trees work, right? Mm-hmm. And I look at I give a tree my feces. It fertilizes and grows that tree. Mm-hmm. That tree, in turn, from my feces, gives me food. Right. And now, if I take one apple and just invest that one of the seeds from the apple, not even a whole bunch, one seed from that apple, if I invest that and give it back to God in the ground, it's going to produce thousands a year.
Yeah.
It's too good to be true. You mean tell me I'm going to give you one and you give me thousands?
Right.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to eat more than one time in a day.
Right.
Or like I look at the cycle of everything. Everything was made for our benefit. We're the ones that destroy it because we focus on one thing. And then like I have that issue, right? Where I cannot focus on two things at the same time. Like I can't talk to you and do the dishes at the same time. My wife be upset with me.
Right. She's like, keep going. Right.
But I look at it like it's a blessing and a curse. And the blessing part of it is the fact that you have my undivided attention.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of times people don't really take the time. They're like, I hear you. Mm-hmm. I'm not really listening. So I that's why I feel like it's a gift. And then sometimes it's like, man, I'm not as productive because I can only focus on this one thing. But you take the cards and you play the game regardless. The disadvantage is what makes the game fun.
Okay. That's a good way to look at it.
So I don't want to focus on the disadvantage. I want to focus on how to win.
Yeah.
Actually, that's another thing that I heard. Somebody said, winners focus on winning. Losers focus on winners.
Wow. So wait, so hold on. So let's go there for a second. Let's go there for a second.
You know, I'm down.
So when you talk about winning, okay, for you, what does that look like? What does winning look like for you? What's your picture of that? Like, what are you shooting for right now? What's going on in your world where you like, this is what I'm going to do. Let me not say trying to do, because I know you don't operate that way, because that's doubt. We don't use doubt words. What am I gonna do next? What am I doing?
My goal is to show that we don't have obstacles. We only have stairs. The same thing you view as an obstacle is the same thing that brings me to the next level. We need obstacles. Opportunity is an obstacle. We ask God for something and God gives us a series of problems, and once we solve them, we get exactly what we asked for. But many times we're like, well, just give it to me. I'm not supposed to do nothing.
Right.
And it's like, okay, well, why am I investing in you? Why am I giving you the breath of life? Why am I giving you something unless I thought I was going to gain from it? We're meant to create things for our pleasure. And this is all about being pleased. But sometimes I think that we are more focused on comfort than we are actually on being pleased. our feelings take precedence over our spirit. Our spirit says, man, I really want that. I really want to feel this way. I really want to be this. This is the type of man I want to be, right? Mm-hmm. But then your feelings say, but this is what's comfortable. I just want to go back right here. Let me just eat that same thing. Let me just chill.
Yeah.
And you end up with everything that you don't want when you operate through comfort. Because in order to attain what's never been reached, which is what you were designed for, you have to be uncomfortable. It's not like a bad thing. It's just the process. And you create a new level of comfort. Like when I listen to Andy Mineo, he that tug of war. He said, I got two choices. Both require change. Oh no, wait. Both require pain. One's the pain of change or the pain of staying the same. It's like, dang.
Yeah.
Either way, we still experience pain. I want to feel like I'm got somewhere through my pain. Not it was just for no reason.
Right. Yeah. Interesting. What you had me thinking about right there when you talked about being comfortable, it took me back to sales training, and it used to be like, Achilles, get out your comfort zone, man. You got to try things a different way.
Yeah.
And it's funny when it seemed so simple, but it was like, at that time it was hard, but once I did it, the benefits came from getting out of my comfort zone. But anyway, it had me thinking about that. And that's priceless. We do have to get out of our comfort zone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So me personally, I think the purpose of even creating the channel or putting myself out there is really just to find other people that are willing to dream with me.
No doubt.
It ain't like, okay, it's cut and dry. This is what it gotta be.
Right.
But I believe that when we all dream, it's all in the same direction. So, like for when I think of paradise and you think of paradise, I believe it's in the same direction. It might not be the exact same picture,
right?
But everything's in the same direction. So, and what I do to prove that is I say, okay, when you think of paradise, do you think of people hungry?
Absolutely not.
Me either.
We super full, actually, or satisfied.
Satisfied, exactly.
There we go.
Or when you think of paradise, you see people poor. Me either. It's just a natural thing, right? When you think of paradise, do you see people with smiles?
Yes.
Me too. You see what I'm saying? So it's everything's in the same direction. But when you think about your paradise, you probably never thought of a car that you never have to gas or charge. It just goes forever and ever. But if I added that to your paradise, would it?
It fits. I want that now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. So now,
Wait, nah, bro. We're gonna be flying in paradise. What you mean?
Gravitational machine.
We're gonna build this thing up. No, go ahead. My bad.
Yeah. So, but that's the thing is, when we reach one level of paradise, we can always dream and attain another, and another, and it continues to progress in the same direction. I believe that life was meant to be a progression, not just here.
Yeah.
Not day in, day. Well, I ask people all the time, how you doing? Oh, same thing, just did today. And then I ask people, like, what's on your mind? What's new right now?
Yeah.
You ain't even thinking about nothing. And they they just look into space like I just asked the most difficult question in the world. All I'm asking is what's on your mind. Are you even paying attention?
Right.
And then when people ask me what's on my mind or how you doing, I actually tell them. They're like, I wouldn't look for a whole story. This is what's going on in my life now. See, I want to love. When I truly love you, I recognize that we're going through a process.
Right.
And at this stage of your journey, you have more access to more pieces than you've ever had. So now, the decisions you make now will be really different because you've learned from previous decisions. So now I get to walk with you through the new process.
Yeah.
In relationship, I notice that there's two things that have to happen. So the first thing that has to happen is acceptance. Before we can have a relationship, we have to accept each other, right? So we're accepting each other into each other's boundaries, right? The second level, one or two things is going to happen. Either affirmation, or what's the word? What's the word for it? Admiration. That's what it is. So either I admire you, or I resent, or I like. How does God say it? He says, if you love me, you will love the things in which I love. You will despise those things in which I despise.
Right.
So one or two things is going to happen. We're going to learn something new about each other, and you're either going to despise it or you're going to admire it. And this is how a relationship is built. But a lot of times what ends up happening is we see something that we despise, we don't say anything about it. We talk about what we admire, and we think we got to throw the whole person out because we don't like one thing.
Right.
But we don't give the feedback. Like, this is just a learning process.
Right.
And then it was funny to me because somebody had said, they said people cling to knowledge. And they think that there's somebody because they have this massive knowledge. And what it made me think about is I can only communicate my experience. I can't create one. I'm just communicating my experience. And the more I pay attention to it, the more knowledge I have on my experience. That's it. But everybody's just communicating their experience. Nobody really knows so much more than the next person. Like,
Yeah.
and that's another thing that I noticed too, is many people focus on facts and never even have a clue that they never found truth.
Interesting. What do you mean when you say that?
So the difference between facts and truth. Facts can be changed. Truth remains the same no matter what you put it in. So the thing is with facts, like, okay, Donald Trump is president. That's a fact.
Right.
It's going to change.
Right. Someone else is going to have that same office. Yeah.
Facts are focused on what has been and what is, right?
Yep.
Not the process. Truth always focuses on the process of things so you understand how it operates, so you can always know the cause and effect.
All right. Huh.
So gravity would be considered a truth. It constantly happens no matter who does it, no matter who's in a situation, what's in a situation, everything
Right.
responds to gravity.
In this atmosphere.
Yep.
Right. No doubt.
Or when we start getting into deeper things, like, you must have a thought. The unseen creates the seen. You must have a thought before you have an action. It is impossible for you to have an action without anything unseen happening. Or somebody pointed out to me, they said the reason why we're called man is because we're meant to be the manifestation of spirits.
That's a good one. I never heard that one before.
So we're meant to be the manifestation of God's spirit, but in turn, we're the manifestation of every spirit that we choose. So,
That's good. That's good stuff. Yeah.
so when it comes to dreaming, all I ever want to end out with is a dream we dream alone is only a dream. A dream we dream together is a reality.
Yeah, I like that. That's cool.
You can end it, bro.
All right.